dear students. Good afternoon to all of you. Hoping everyone is fine. Taking care of yourself and your family. Starting with today's lecture, that is enzyme inhibition. What is this enzyme inhibition? Actually, there are inhibitors which decrease the velocity of an enzyme catalyzed reaction. And this whole process is known as enzyme inhibition. And the agents which cause this enzyme inhibition are known as enzyme inhibitors. So we'll look into two types of inhibitors, reversible and irreversible inhibitors. As the name is reversible and irreversible, it indicates bonding or the types of bonding by which they are combining, so they can be easily reversible in case of reversible inhibition, or in case of irreversible, they can't be easily removed. So since covalent bonding are stronger than the non-covalent, it means that most of these reversible inhibition is by non-covalent bonding, while that of irreversible inhibition, it is due to covalent bonding. Always covalent bonds are stronger than non-covalent. Already you have learned in the protein structure, starting from primary structure, it is composed of covalent bond, that is peptide bond. It is very strong, not easily broken by various physical and chemical agents causing denaturation of proteins. And in the higher structures, we have learned that is a non-covalent bond, starting from secondary to quaternary structure. Although they are very important, they maintain the stability of these structures, but they are non-covalent. And they are also responsible for the protein folding. That is the protein three-dimensional, four-dimensional structure. So these enzymes, since they are made of proteins, if there is a loss of structure, that is folded structure of protein, then these enzymes will lose their activity. Each enzyme, most of the enzymes are three-dimensional structure. If it composed of single protein polypeptide chain, while in some cases these enzymes are composed of more than one polypeptide chain, then they will attain the quaternary structure. These are the important things about the introduction of the enzyme inhibition. What is this actually? Any substance that decreases the velocity of an enzyme catalyzed reaction, they are known as enzyme inhibitors. And these inhibitors are molecules that resemble the substrate or products and can bind to the active site. This means they are interfering with the enzyme catalysis of that substrate. Enzyme catalysis is slowed down or it can be stopped also. This way, overall reaction velocity decreases and can also be stopped due to this binding of inhibitors to the active site or other to the active site. For example, many drugs, poisons, and antibiotics, they are inhibitors. They come under enzyme inhibitors, and these drugs, many drugs are reversible enzyme inhibitors. They have their physiological effect by decreasing the activity of a specific enzyme. Since enzymes have their own specific substrate, they catalyze that substrate upon binding, and enzymes can change their configuration of the active site. That is the Enzymes are made up of proteins. Proteins are made up of amino acids. So according to that model of Kochline, induced fit model, according to the substrate structure, enzymes can change their configuration around the active site in order to tightly fit that substrate. Each enzyme has its own active site configuration according to the specific substrate. When one specific substrate is binding to that active site, no other substrate can bind if it is not similar to the substrate. Only this type of inhibitor, that known as competitive inhibitor, they can bind to the active site when substrate concentration is low. There is condition also. We will learn later on the slide. So these types of inhibitors, examples that are poisons, drugs, and antibiotics. These come under various other metabolites. These come under examples of enzyme inhibitors. They may be reversible or irreversible. Like the most easy example for remembering this type of inhibitor is cyanide poisoning. What does cyanide poisoning do? Which process is affects leading to the death of the person who consumed this cyanide? Anyone knows which process and which enzyme it is affecting? Yes, Ashik. Anyone knows? Yes or no? Deepshika? Aditi? Sanskriti? Shasta? These are the very good examples of enzyme inhibitors. Sometimes used by inmates of the prison who don't want to mention their anybody knows? Actually, this cyanide will inhibit the whole electron transport chain by inhibiting that fourth complex, cytochrome complex. There are 4 complex in the electron transport chain. That's in the before semester we have learned. So in that complex, there is an enzyme cytochrome C oxidase. This is the main enzyme. It is affected by cyanide. So if electron transport chain is blocked due to this blocking of enzyme cytochrome C oxidase, there will be no ATP production, ultimately leading to the death of the individual due to no energy gained by the cells. So here another example is given of drug, that is aspirin, also known as acetyl salicylate. Which enzyme it inhibits? It inhibits the enzyme that catalyzes the first step in the synthesis of prostaglandin. Very important lipid compounds involved in many processes, including some that produce pain. It may be labor pain also, or some infection, some accident leading to the leakage of blood. That side it produces and helps in clotting of that blood also. Indirectly involved in the clotting process, besides involved in producing pain. So these are some of the examples which come under enzyme inhibitors in the in vivo condition. So what is the concentration of inhibitor that is needed to inhibit enzyme? It depends on how tightly inhibitor binds to the enzyme. If it didn't tightly bind to that enzyme, it can't inhibit that enzyme. So the concentration of inhibitor is dependent upon how tightly it is binding to the enzyme. And there is another constant, inhibition constant, because we are learning about enzyme inhibition. So this is what is this inhibition constant? It is used to describe how tightly an inhibitor binds to an enzyme in order to inhibit that enzyme catalyzed reaction. So these are the types of inhibitors classified into two major categories, that is irreversible and reversible. In the first case, that is irreversible inhibition, what are the characteristics of these types of inhibitors are responsible for irreversible inhibition? These inhibitors bind covalently with the enzyme in one case, or it can destroy a functional group on an enzyme that is essential for enzyme activity, that is present in the active site, that functional group. It is destroyed and it can't be catalyzed. And the third case is it can form particularly stable non-covalent association. The most promising of these three cases by which irreversible inhibitors they bind is the formation of a covalent link between an irreversible inhibitor and an enzyme is common, because that name is irreversible, not reversible. It can't be easily reversed. The inhibition can't be easily reversed. That is why here it indicates clearly that the bond that is mainly formed between inhibitors and enzyme, it is covalent bond. There is some exception. Sometimes it can also bond stable non-covalent association. That is a very rare case. Apart from destroying the functional group present in the active site of enzyme. Again, there is an example for these types of inhibition that is known as irreversible inhibition. The enzyme that is chymotrypsin, when it reacted with this compound known as diisopropyl fluorophosphate, DIFP, it irreversibly inhibits enzyme by binding with serine 195 sequence in the active site of chymotrypsin. Chymotrypsin is an enzyme, but when this substrate comes, that is the compound, chemical compound, in short it is known as DIFP, it irreversibly bind and inhibit the enzyme. And how it is binding, on which amino acids? Since active sites contain amino acids and there are specific sequences for each of the enzyme active site. So here one of the amino acid which is involved in the active site, main binding and catalytic site, that is active site, it is serine amino acid and the number is 195. It is more clear from this figure how this compound that is DIFP makes this enzyme inactive through the process of irreversible inhibition. So this is the structure of enzyme chymotrypsin. When it is inactive, that is in the form of chymotrypsogen, it is synthesized as single polypeptide. But when it is activated, through the cleavage into 3 polypeptide chains connected by disulfide bridges, then the active site of this 3 polypeptide chain is serine, histidine, and aspartate residues. The catalytic triad is composed of 3 amino acids known as catalytic triad. And the amino acids here are serine, histidine, and aspartate. At this number 195, 57, 102. So it is very important point to note that chymotrypsin is synthesized as a single polypeptide. This enzyme has single polypeptide, but when it is activated, from chymotrypsinogen to chymotrypsin, it is cleaved into three polypeptide chains that are associated, and this makes the quaternary structure. They are composed of three polypeptides in their active form. So they are not the tertiary structure, they are the quaternary structure. These three polypeptide chains are joined by disulfide bridges. So here you are seeing the enzyme is directly attaching to the serine residues, it is amino acid residues of this active site of this enzyme chymotrypsin, in order to inhibit this enzyme through irreversible inhibition. It's clear, everybody? It's a very good example which comes under irreversible inhibition of enzyme. Yes, everybody clear? I'm audible to everyone? Bazari? Ashik?
Yes, sir. Earlier.
Clear है दीपिका दीपशिका
Yes, sir.
okay fine now come to the another category of inhibition that is known as reversible inhibition. As the name is reversible, so in this case it clearly indicates that the bonding is non-covalent type, that are weaker than the covalent bond. So this type of inhibition involves equilibrium between enzyme and inhibitor. This is the difference between reversible and irreversible inhibition. Here there is equilibrium existing between enzyme and inhibitor. That is why here the constant is changed from this inhibition constant to equilibrium constant. It is used to measure the affinity of the inhibitor for the enzyme. Again, this reversible inhibition is subdivided into three categories: competitive, uncompetitive, and non-competitive. So here it is a summary of the whole enzyme inhibition mechanism under reversible inhibition, comprising competitive, non-competitive, and uncompetitive. So here the first case, that is competitive inhibition of enzyme. It is clear from this figure that substrate and inhibitor, they bind to the active site, the same active site. That is, inhibitor compete for the binding towards the active site with the substrate. Inhibitor और substrate के बीच competition होता है for the binding at the same site, that is known as active site. So here it can be represented by chemical reaction, generalized chemical reaction. Here is E plus S. It is reversible to enzyme substrate complex, then through irreversible forms enzyme plus product. Always this generalized reaction exists for any type of enzyme catalyzed reaction, but when inhibitor comes, in case of this competitive inhibitor, this competitive inhibitor, it binds to the enzyme active site. So there is additional diversion of this generalized chemical reaction towards the lower part. E plus I means inhibitor. Through reversible reaction, it forms enzyme inhibitor complex. When this inhibitor, that is competitive inhibitor, comes for binding to the enzyme, that is, they compete for the active site against substrate. So here in this case, inhibitor binds to free enzyme only and compete with the substrate. Another important point to note that increasing the substrate concentration overcomes the inhibition by inhibitor. Very important point to note. This is the specific characteristic of this competitive inhibition, comparing to non-competitive and uncompetitive. That when you increase the substrate concentration, there will be no inhibition by this type of competitive inhibitor. because there will be no site, no vacant site. All the sites are blocked, that is filled by substrate. So there is no extra or blank site for binding to the inhibitor. We come to the second category of enzyme inhibition under reversible type. This is non-competitive. The name is non-competitive. Clearly indicates that this type of inhibitor, they do not bind to the substrate binding site, that is active site. It binds to the different site from active site, as shown here in the figure. Just like we learned in the allosteric enzyme, there are other sites from active sites where, according to the allosteric compound nature, whether the allosteric compound is activator or inhibitor, it can activate or inhibit the enzyme. So here, since we are learning only about inhibitors, so it can only deactivate the enzyme, slowing the reaction or stopping the reaction. So here, the inhibitor is binding to both free enzyme and enzyme substrate complex, because this property is non-competitive inhibitor. It can bind to both free enzyme and enzyme substrate complex, as shown in the below chemical reaction. Generalized chemical reaction is shown below that. Enzyme is binding with inhibitor, is non-competitive, forming enzyme inhibitor complex plus substrate. Again, since it also binds to the enzyme substrate complex, this inhibitor, so enzyme substrate complex bind to inhibitor and act finally forming, in both the cases, enzyme inhibitor substrate complex. Whether the inhibitor is binding directly to the free enzyme or it is binding to the enzyme substrate complex, the ultimate final product will be EIS, that is enzyme inhibitor substrate complex. So here it is clearly written, inhibitor binds to both free enzyme or enzyme substrate complex. And here, as in the earlier case, there is no effect how much you increase the substrate concentration. This type of inhibition cannot be overcome, cannot be inhibited by increasing the substrate concentration. Now come to the last category of this reversible enzyme inhibition, that is uncompetitive. So the name is similar somewhat, non-competitive and uncompetitive, but there is some difference. In this case of inhibitor, although the inhibitor is binding to the other site apart from active site, but it only binds to the enzyme substrate complex, not to the enzyme, as mentioned in the below chemical reaction. Binds to the enzyme substrate complex and form EIS, that is enzyme inhibitor substrate complex. So here in this case, inhibitor binds to enzyme substrate complex and increasing the substrate concentration will favor the inhibition by inhibitor. It is just opposite to the first part, that is competitive inhibitor. Here in this first part, under competitive inhibitor, increasing substrate concentration will overcome the inhibition by inhibitor, will stop the inhibition by inhibitor. If there is a enormous concentration of substrate, there is no scarcity of substrate. But here, the opposite effect is happening. Increasing the substrate, it favors the inhibition by inhibitor, that is uncompetitive inhibitor. In the middle one, there is no effect. Increasing the substrate concentration cannot overcome inhibition. But here, the negative thing is happening. Increasing substrate concentration, it favors the inhibition by this uncompetitive type of inhibitor. So the difference is clear between these two types of reversible enzyme inhibition. Everybody, competitive, non-competitive, and competitive. It's clear? Okay. Now coming on to the detail of first type, that is competitive inhibition. So in this case, already it has been shown, this type of inhibitors bind only to free enzyme, and to the same side, the substrate is binding. These type of inhibitors are molecules that are similar to the substrate. They look like the substrate. The important point I have already mentioned, at an infinite concentration of the substrate, competitive inhibitor cannot bind to the enzyme. There is no scarcity of the substrate. There is high concentration of substrate. Competitive inhibitor, they are unable to bind to the active site of the enzyme, since substrate concentration is high enough that there is virtually no free enzyme present. It means that there is no free active site is present for the binding of this inhibitor, that is competitive inhibitor. All the binding sites, that is also known as catalytic site. In single term, it is known as active site. It is occupied by the substrate. Here the same reaction has been shown to denote this type of inhibition, since it only binds to the free enzyme. It forms enzyme inhibitor complex because it is similarly in look to the substrate. That is why enzyme get confused, and when the substrate concentration is not high enough, this type of competitive inhibition will happen. In this case, enzyme will bind to the inhibitor because it would like similar to the substrate. This is the case when the substrate concentration is high enough. In this case, inhibitor is unable to bind, but when the substrate concentration is low, inhibitor will bind easily because they are similar in look to the substrate. Here, the graph is shown for this type of competitive inhibition. And it is mentioned that since competitive inhibitors have no effect on the velocity, that is Vmax, at saturating concentration of the substrate, so intercept of the double reciprocal product, that is 1 by Vmax, at all the different concentrations are same, that of inhibitor. So here it is shown. Already I have discussed this double reciprocal plot, also known as Lineweaver-Burke plot. So here you are seeing that there are 3 concentration of inhibitor, 1, 2, 3, but all intersect the y-axis at single point that denotes the 1 by Vmax. That intersection at y-axis, it denotes the 1 by Vmax. That is. So this type of inhibitors have no effect on velocity. That is Vmax. Vmax is same. More clearly given in the other graph, comparing the velocity with the substrate on the x-axis and velocity in the y-axis for a general reaction where there is no inhibitor, and comparing with the reaction where inhibitor is present, that is competitive inhibition. In this case, you are seeing here, there is no effect on Vmax. Vmax is same in both the case, while Km is increased. It is clear, Km is increasing. The purple line, it shows the generalized enzymatic reaction without any inhibitor, while this blue line shows the enzymatic reaction in presence of competitive inhibitor. Here it is mentioned in detail about that graph. At low concentration of the substrate, that is substrate concentration is very low, enzyme is predominantly in the E form, and competitive inhibitor can combine with enzyme, so the presence of the inhibitor decreases the velocity when the substrate concentration is low. Initially, I told you substrate concentration, if it is high, then there will be no effect of this competitive inhibitor on the velocity of the reaction. But when the substrate concentration is low, this type of inhibitor, that is competitive inhibitor, it decreases the velocity of the reaction. Here it is again shown. Competitive inhibition. Under this type of inhibition, V max remain unchanged, but Km increases.